Happy Friday, guys. Happy Veterans Day. Normally these come out on Thursdays, but with what I'm about to show you, I decided to make the decision to wait till today to kind of just get all the data. So, but first and foremost, as I mentioned, happy Veterans Day. Yesterday, my kiddos' school, they had Veterans Day celebration. My dad was there. He's an Army vet, but for all those that have served, man, much appreciation and thank you for your service. I know the sacrifice that goes into that. So with all that said, guys, let's get in. This does say yesterday's date. As I mentioned, I opted to wait till today. Again, happy Veterans Day to all those out there. But check this out. Yesterday was a great day. Despite Freddie Mac saying the rates are up at 7.08 with 0.9 fees, that's actually now incorrect because of what I'm about to show you. So check out what happened, guys. That Freddie Mac post comes out before the market opens. Well, yesterday morning, CPI, inflation numbers, the Fed's favorite gauge, came in and said inflation went down. So check this out. Remember, green is good, guys. Green has been coming lately, and we've kind of made a nice little run back. And here we are showing that yesterday was a huge pop. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see if we can hold this. And you see that black line, the 50-day moving average. It'd be really nice if we can hold that today and through the weekend. Technically, we will hold it today because the bond market's closed. So this isn't going to change what we're showing you. But again, if we can hold that come next week, we might be on a nice little pace to start making some room back here. So here's what came in yesterday. We've been saying this. If you guys want, go back and look at your emails since, I don't know, maybe like March, April-ish. We've been saying that inflation would and will be coming down. And again, yes, it's a bet. And no, we can't predict the future. But the reality is things have played out like we've been projecting and forecasting. And here's what happened. The headline CPI number went down from 8.2 to 7.7. But if you strip out, food and energy from that, the core, what's left when you strip those out, went down from 6.6 to 6.3. And why is the core is the most important? Because the Fed can't go drill more oil and they can't grow more grain and all the other stuff that controls inflation. But for them, for everything else, demand destruction by raising rates, the core is what they look at. So we got a 0.3 reduction, and that may not seem like a ton, but it shows that things are starting to work. But guess what? If we dive into that 6.3 even deeper, this was, I think, a week or two ago, we did a post on just housing. So shelter, if you guys look, the month over month change for what we just added in shelter as part of that 6.3 number, it is a 0.8% that was added. That is huge. That is 39, I think it's like 39.3%. So call it 40% of the CPI number went up 0.8 month over month and 6.9 year over year. And yet we still had inflation coming down. So guys, that is, again, like I said a couple videos ago, in January is when we expect to see that number start to come down, because these are lagging data points, right? These things are, today's results don't show up for a few more months. And so in that number, this rent and then the OER, owner's equivalent rent. Owner's equivalent rent has about 3 times the weight that rent is. And what owner's equivalent rent is basically saying to homeowners, what would you rent your home for? Well, today's market versus 3 or 4 months ago, homeowners aren't going to be so bold to say I can rent it for X nowadays. So that is coming down, and those numbers will come in. And the only reason why they were this high, if you guys look, the lodging away from home. And I'll be honest, prior to this, I don't know that I knew much about that number, but this is the numbers that show like think hotels and things like that. But there's still massive inflation. Not massive, but relatively larger inflation on the lodging away from home. That was up 4.9% just for October. But again, guys, as things slow down, you're going to find that the economy slows, that number is going to go down too. So long story short, this is the I told you so. And it's not meant to be like, I told you so, but it's meant to be the, it's playing out like we've been projecting and forecasting, that inflation has shown. And we've said the November report. Like, it's not like how we got close. We literally called the November report is when we'd see inflation. And why? This is the lodging away from home, guys, by the way. Check this out. We are way over here on the far right. It is so volatile, but look, it's the highest it's been. So again, when it comes back down to semi-normal rates, it won't be as crazy. That's why inflation. But here's that chart you guys have seen since, again, March, April, May, June of last year. Look at the numbers on the left in yellow. Those are the numbers that fell off. The number on the right, the 0.3 on the far right with October, that's the inflation number that was just reported, 0.3%. Well, look, it just replaced the 0.6 from last year. Is it a coincidence that inflation just went down 0.3? No. So understand now, with all these Fed rate hikes that have happened here in the second half of this year, I expect future low numbers like the 0.3 in the coming months. And if you go back and look on the left side of the page, November, December, January, February, those are all elevated numbers at 0.5, 0.6, 0.6, 0.5. So if we replace those with new numbers going forward, like this 0.3, inflation will continue to come down. And when that happens, our mortgage rate should come down. That will be a very good thing. So guys, these are activities. As far as you guys can pause this, I want to focus more on the inflation, but this is just kind of where a survey done. It's just kind of saying where numbers are. But the important thing, guys, the election results, they are important. Ideally, and I'm not trying to get political, but ideally, if the Republicans can regain everything, which, you know, we're almost there. I say we, meaning like the industry is almost there to have this like kind of a, for lack of a better word, a neutered Congress, right? To where you got this, you just, if Congress can't pass things, then that can't pass bills and things like that, the market loves it because it makes it pretty predictable. They know that some massive stimulus plan won't come out or something like that. So I'm not trying to get political outside of saying a house divided is a good thing when it comes to just the stock market's predictability of what may come in the future. So guys, understand, again, more numbers. And by the way, Dallas-Fort Worth is on the 10 top fastest growing cities. So I've been telling everybody who's listening that we can get to listen, I should say. Dallas is still a really good place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth fastest growing city. It is a great time to buy a house in Dallas-Fort Worth, guys. Not as many buyers are out there right now. We all know that buying activity is down, but home prices have been relatively stable. Yes, there's some pockets like new construction, things like that, where there's inventory that's in excess, but overall, the market as a whole, Dallas-Fort Worth is a great place to be. More people keep coming in every single day. There's truly still a housing shortage nationally. I talk to people every day coming in from the West Coast. The reality is, guys, buying now, if you're a home buyer or if you want to forward this to any potential home buyer, this is a fantastic opportunity because sellers are willing to make deals, right? In the sense that they know that there's less of you out there if you're buying a home. And yes, rates are elevated, but it's not going to be like that for long. I believe that in probably the first 6 months of next year, you're going to see rates back with a 5 in front of them. And when that happens, more and more people that have been sitting on the sidelines will come back out in the market. And then all of a sudden you got the same problem we had in the last 2 years, which is buyers are out there in full force and it becomes a seller's market again. So get your folks out there, go buy. I think inflation will continue to come down and really accelerate in January, which again will help our interest rate. So for those of you that are in the real estate business, hold tight, just share this with folks and let them know this is a good time to buy because your interest rate's not forever. We all know that. Buy today's prices because you could see appreciation still continuing next year if and when those rates go down. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Happy Friday. And again, we love you veterans. Thank you for your service. Bye, guys.